Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this one is coming to you straight out of Ohio. Where an influencer, a young female, had difficulties with stress, anxiety, anger, poor decision making, and of course, I believe this is encapsulated around mental health issues. And what she decided to do or allegedly to her boyfriend and his friend, ended up in a very heinous, fatal car crash that she was in, driving the car that led to these two young men dying. And allegedly, she planned it on more than one occasion and had even talked about it, committing a car crash, killing her boyfriend, and she actually went and did it. That is the caveat to this one, and it's titled Hell on Wheels by the media. And evidently, she was a social media influencer. She was somewhat well known, but now after this fatal mistake, she is going to go down as a murderer of two people. And we need to find out, did the court make the right sentencing in this particular place with two people losing their lives? So let's go. Hell on Wheels teen who killed her boyfriend and his friend in a car crash is sentenced to 15 years to life. The Ohio teenager dubbed Hell on Wheels, who was convicted of intentionally crashing her car at 100 miles per hour into a building, killing her boyfriend and his friend, was sentenced to two concurrent 15 years to life sentences on Monday. Mackenzie Sherilla, 19, was sentenced on murder charges in the deaths of her boyfriend Dominic Russo, 20, and Davion Flanagan, 19. She will receive credit for time served and have her driver's license suspended for life. Sherrillo was convicted last week in a bench trial on 12 counts, including murder for the crash in July 2022. Sherrillo, then 17 at the time, drove without braking into a brick building in the Cleveland suburb of Strongsville. The passengers, Russo and Flanagan, were pronounced dead at the scene, and she was in the car. Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Russo said Monday she grappled with whether to give Sherrillo consecutive or concurrent sentences. And of course, Judge Russo is not related to Dominic Russo. They just happen to have the same last name. I understand that the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence, but I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence, because I believe that Mackenzie won't be out in 15 years, the judge said. Then Mackenzie says she is so deeply sorry. Sherrillo, who did not testify, spoke before the court before the sentence was read. The families of Dominic and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened, she said, crying. We were all friends, and Dom was my soulmate, she said. I wish I could take all your pain away. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys gave. I love you all so much. Then the victims' families asked for the harshest sentence. The victims' relatives spoke before sentencing. Mackenzie is going to jail because you did this. Be thankful you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be, said Dominic's mother, Christine Russo. Dom and Davion were robbed of their futures, their hopes, and their dreams. Mackenzie showed no mercy on Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul, she added. Davion Flanagan's mother said his death has devastated their family. His sister, Daphne Flanagan, said, I feel sick. I feel like I can't move forward. I feel lost. I would like you to give Mackenzie the longest possible sentence. I've known her for about 3 years, and she's always taking the easy way out. Before the sentencing, the prosecution presented TikTok videos showing Sherillo at a concert and celebrating Halloween after the crash. Sherillo's mother told the judge that the outings were the only time she did something for herself, saying her daughter had been held up in her room crying next to a shrine she had made of Dominic Russo for months. She said, I'm asking for leniency because this is a tragic accident she doesn't remember. Davion, he's a new friend, Natalie Sherillo said. The judge cut her off and said, what does that mean? His life was worthless? Natalie Sherillo walked back her comment and apologized to the victims' families. Dominic Russo's father, Frank Russo, told NBC News last week that he didn't want Sherillo to spend the rest of her life in jail despite her actions. He said it's horrible for everybody. Yeah, I lost my son. It's harder on our family, but I don't want the rest of her life ruined too. It isn't going to make me feel any better, he said. At the trial, which was at last week's verdict, the judge shared blistering remarks and condemned Sherillo's actions, saying she had a mission and she executed it with precision. The mission was death. The crash happened around 5:30 a.m. on July 31st, 2022, when Sherillo accelerated her Toyota Camry into the Plitco building, a large brick building at the intersection of Progress and Alameda Drives in Strongsville, police and prosecutors said. Police arrived at the scene around 45 minutes later. Russo and Flanagan were pronounced dead at the scene. Sherillo was hospitalized. The judge said in her verdict remarks that Sherillo was literally hell on wheels, saying she intentionally drove at an hour when not many witnesses would be around, on a path she didn't routinely use but had visited days before the accident. Prosecutors argued in the trial that Sherillo had become turbulent and threatening toward her boyfriend, and that she crashed to end their relationship. Literally. 2 weeks before the crash, she allegedly threatened to crash her vehicle when she was driving with Russo because she was upset over a disagreement they had had. Russo called his mother and asked to be picked up, and a friend ended up retrieving him. In a phone call with Russo, the friend allegedly overheard Sherillo saying, I will crash this car right now, prosecutors said in court documents. The month of the crash, Sherillo allegedly made multiple threats toward Russo. Videos recovered from his cell phone reveal an altercation in which she was heard repeatedly degrading Dominic, threatening him and damaging his property, prosecutors said in court. She allegedly threatened to key his car and to break the handle off the door after he refused to let her into his house. The trial featured security video played in court showing the moment Sherillo accelerated toward the building without stopping at 100 miles an hour until a gut-wrenching crash was heard. Video showed that. The judge noted in her sentencing remarks that even after the crash, Sherillo appeared to be only concerned about losing her driver's license and not the death of her boyfriend and his friend. During the investigation, she asked if she could just get her license suspended for 10 years, she said. It's hard to fathom how a person could be concerned about their driving privileges having just been responsible for the deaths of 2 people. Man, what an incredible story. And just the hubris of this young lady to decide to take the lives of her ex-boyfriend and his friend in a car that she is driving or was driving at 100 miles an hour. Mackenzie Cirillo, and this happened at the time she was 17 years old. You talk about a young, immature person making a very, very poor adult decision that will affect not only her life for the rest of her life, but will affect and did affect the 2 young men that were in the car who were pronounced dead and their families. I tell you, mental illness, untreated, undiagnosed mental illness is at an all-time high. Yes, she could have had a heinous, demonic heart. That could be very well true. But it is definitely painted with a broad brush of unstable mental illness. Not able to deal with stress and anxiety. All of 3 of these individuals at the beginning of their lives, they had plenty of life to live and to experience the positives and the negatives of life. This is a telltale sign on that life is going to present you challenges in relationships, on your job, and the whole point of an even keel, positive level of maturity is how to navigate through these difficult times. And she got stuck. And her decision making was a very immature teenage choice and decision that she made, and not really understanding the consequences behind it, because it was almost as if she was trying to do a murder-suicide. She's in the car driving at 100 miles an hour. And unfortunately, or however we look at it, her plan was fulfilled because Russo and the other gentleman, Davion, ended up deceased in this car accident, and she survived. So her life is going to be living hell forever. This will be on her mind and on her consciousness forever. And she's got 15 to life. That does so she's not only going to do 15 years, but when she goes before the parole board, they could deny it. She could end up getting a life sentence. She has a little opening for possibly getting out on parole, but this is a devastating scenario for all 3 families. But this is a cautionary tale for anybody listening with young teenage kids or any teenagers listening. Please try to make the right choice and decision. Life is going to present us challenges all the time. Life is a journey and not a destination point, and we should be in a position to constantly be trying to learn. You don't have to get stuck. It is a journey, and there's always a way out in a positive way. And this decision that this young lady made at 17 years old is just terrible. Tell me what you think about this case with Mackenzie Cirillo, who just got convicted for allegedly killing 2 of her friends, her boyfriend and another friend, in a car accident when she drove over 100 miles an hour into a building in Ohio. What a sad case and a very poor decision that this young lady made. It is changing. It is going to change her life and definitely the lives of the 2 young men that ended up getting killed in the car accident. Mental illness is real. We need to wake up and have a wake-up call for people being treated, diagnosed, and getting the help they need under these stressful and anxiety-ridden times that we live in. This has been the Trevor Donald Excuse, the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.